Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea podcast. And this week we are covering Evil Dead from 2013.
The unrated version.
The unrated version. I did not realize.
Yes.
Well, okay, the unrated version.
This specific version was requested.
Yes.
That's why we watched the unrated version. It was requested by Austin. So thank you for that suggestion.
Yes, thank you.
It was as gory as you promised.
And I guess before we move on to the summary of the movie, we can start off by saying what tea we are drinking. I am drinking, drumroll, I am drinking the lemon zest tea along with ginger tea. And it smells freaking amazing.
Well, I went with Bigelow's ginger peach turmeric tea.
Peach and turmeric.
Yes.
That sounds interesting. How does it taste?
It is delicious. It's got a little bit of sweetness. Like, I didn't add any sugar or honey. Mm-hmm. It's not, like, very sweet or anything like that. It's just slight. And it's got just a little undertone of bite to it from the turmeric.
Ooh, I like that.
And a little bit of that ginger freshness.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's like on the ginger and lemon tea. I like it because it's just a little hint of lemon, because I love having ginger tea with like lemon juice squeezed in it, but yeah. I didn't have lemon juice, so I had to compromise.
Well, this tea actually helped a little bit with some heartburn that I had the other day. So.
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah. Pretty nice.
Yeah. Well, okay, so going back to the summary, the Evil Dead is about these group of friends who is helping their friend Mia go through withdrawal or try and quit drugs. And so they all go to a cabin to hunker down with her, let her go through her symptoms for 3 days, and then she comes out of it clean. At least that's the idea. Well, on the first day, mind you.
Dude, in the first, hour.
Yeah. They go down into the basement and find a room with a lot of dead bodies of, hanging cats. Some of them with their eyes removed and, blood dripping. Yeah. And then they find the Book of the Dead. And anyone who is familiar with the Necronomicon, the Evil Dead took inspiration from the book. There definitely are a lot of similarities, but I wouldn't go so far as to say it's 100% the same book.
Well, for those that are not familiar with it, the Necronomicon is one of the concepts from H.P. Lovecraft's stories.
Yes.
Very, very famous horror writer.
Yeah.
From way back. Author of War of the Worlds. Mm-hmm. Just for some context.
Yes. But anyway, so they find the Book of the Dead, and one friend decides it's a good idea to open this book. Because mind you, it's covered in a plastic bag. And then on top of that, there's wire wrapped around it. Huh?
Barbed wire.
Yes, barbed wire. So
we found the stupid one, guys.
Yes. So he cuts the barbed wire, rips the bag open, and then you see a book that is obviously covered in human skin as the cover. And he just, instead of immediately is like, oh, that's really gross, I probably shouldn't touch that, he's like, I'm going to open it and start to read it. And even as he's reading it, it's like, don't read this book. And just so many warning signs. Then he's like, I'm going to keep reading this book.
Then they're like, don't write it, don't say it, don't think it. He does all three.
Yes. They even covered up some of the names. And he just takes a piece of paper to like stencil it so he can read it. Oh,
yeah, he takes a rubbing.
Yes.
Which counts as writing it.
Yes. And, and he read it out loud. So,
yeah.
To not go into...
That's my first thought when I find a book like that. Is, let me read from it.
I know, right? But,
this is fine.
But anyways, he reads a book, and everyone starts getting possessed, and all sorts of shenanigans happens, and... technically, Mia, the drug addict, she technically makes it, but then at the end, they're like, ooh, she got possessed. Or they at least kind of hint at it.
Yeah, they made it a little ambiguous at the end there.
Yeah.
Point is, lots of gore, lots of death.
Oh, lots and lots of gore.
Which I know you're just such a huge fan of.
I was squeamish the entire time. Like, I'm okay having gore when it's appropriate, but you don't need 90% gore. Like, they were purposely hurting these people just so that way you could watch them rip nails out of their skin or chop off their arm. Just like,
demon.
Yeah, but blah. I will say with the girlfriend, her cutting off her arm, and then we find out that her arm was actually completely normal. That was a good scene. Like,
that was a nice touch.
It's like, if you're going to have a gory scene, leave that one in there. But the others just anyways.
I kind of thought something might be up when the demon was telling her, "Don't do that, don't do that." Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it's gonna egg her on to do it.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was kind of cool. We had to kind of back it up a little bit because they only show it for like a second.
Yeah, they don't make it super obvious.
Yeah, but it was a nice touch. I like that.
Yeah, and they also answered my question without outright answering it, because whenever she cut off her arm, I'm like, well, even if her arm had really been possessed, the demon kissed her. So it's like, she has to be possessed in some way or another. And yeah, you find out she was possessed. Mm-hmm. But anyways, well, since I did the synopsis, would you like to lead us on the entertainment scale?
Sure. I'm still kind of figuring out how I feel about this movie. I mean, you know me. I love gory movies. I'm all about gory movies. But they get some points taken off because they killed the freaking dog.
Yeah.
They killed the dog, guys. The dog named Grandpa.
That was one of the most upsetting parts of the movie, the fact that the dog's name was Grandpa.
For you. Not the fact that the dog died, but the fact that it was named Grandpa.
I mean, the dog was in one scene prior to them showing it died, so I'm sorry. I need to, I know you're a huge dog lover, and I love animals. I don't want animals to die, but for me to actually be legitimately sad in a movie for an animal to die, I need to be attached to it first, and I wasn't really attached to this one.
It was a doggo. I was attached right from the get-go.
Yeah. I mean, that's me and a cat. Like, as soon as I see a cat, I'm like, it's my fur baby, don't touch it!
I mean, we saw a cat. We saw a lot of cats.
I know, but they were already dead, so I wasn't attached to them.
I also felt like the amount of cat carcasses was unnecessary and didn't really add anything, honestly, apart from the smell. And they really could have gotten the smell and gotten them down there with something else.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't need that level of cat carcass.
I know. It just...
And it didn't really make sense. Like, they didn't refer to it again, like, in the book or anything. Everything that was happening, or at least the vast majority of what was happening, was in the book in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
The cats had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
The cats had fuck all to do with it.
Yeah.
It was a plot device to get them down there, which, again, they could have had, like, a dead rat or something. Because that would have been plausible. They're in the middle of the friggin' woods.
Yeah.
Something could have crawled down there and died. Or they could have left a piece of the teenage girl that they burned in the beginning of the movie.
That would have been, like, extremely disturbing.
It would have. But it would have made sense as well.
Yeah.
That's a lot to clean up, especially since the dad blew her head off with the gun. So, I mean, I felt like that was unnecessary. I get what they were trying to do. It's gross and unsettling, but it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
Everything else was fine. I know you didn't appreciate it, but everything else was fine.
I don't know. I felt it's almost like some of the Saw movies where it's what do they call it?
Gore for the sake of gore.
No, shit. It's coming to me. It's coming. What's another word for gore?
Viscera?
No. Less big of a word.
Flesh?
No. More big.
Smut?
I forgot what the... Anyways, they call it like something porn. They call it... Damn it. Anyways. I give up.
Anyway... Entertainment-wise, between the points I took off for the dog, the unnecessary amount of cat carcass, and some of the stupidity things that I can't quite wrap my head around, I give it about a 5. It was okay. Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted a little bit more out of it, honestly. Mm. A lot of it went, like, right with the original. And I get it. It is a remake, which is fine, but it felt a little bit too close. Apart from the ending, it felt a little bit too close to the original. Mm. And I was a little bit bored at times. Mm. They didn't really make you care that much about the characters. Really?
I mean, to be fair, in the original, they didn't really either.
Yeah.
But... I do agree. It's like once you know what's going to happen, the only twist is the ending. It's like they could have easily like mixed up like who dies.
I mean, they could have put a little bit more lore into it.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. I mean, the original wasn't my favorite either.
Yeah, I agree.
It kind of compared to a lot of the other original horror movies like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, those kinds of movies. Mm-hmm. This one kind of faded into the background.
Yeah.
For me.
It's really become a cult classic. It's not really...
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I get why a lot of people would like it. I do. And the idea behind it is interesting. And a lot of what, like, Cabin in the Woods is based off of. Mm-hmm. But it was just okay. Like, I'd watch it again. But,
Yeah.
I feel a little bad because this one was, like, requested to us. But
that's what you get.
I'm sorry, Austin. It's a 5 for me, entertainment-wise.
Yeah, for all of the cringiness, and then...
I told you she wasn't big on gore.
And then the fact that, like you said, it is extremely similar to the original, and, you know, if they were going to change the ending, then why not change even more of it? I mean, they changed the character names, but that's still, I don't know.
It's the same movie.
Yeah.
Minus the ending, it's the same movie.
Like, it's
Which
not...
makes sense. It's made by the same people. Like, the same The producers are, what was it, the director of the original film, the main actor in the original
Bruce
film,
Campbell.
and and I think the other one was involved somehow too.
Yeah, there's a lot of crossover. Like, a lot of the original producers and then the original director became producers in this movie.
Which is kind of nice, and honestly, like, if I really liked the original more, I probably would appreciate this one more.
Yeah.
But it'll probably fade into the background a little bit for me. Just like the original did, to be honest.
Yeah. I think
there are better ones out there.
Yeah, I think it honestly just wasn't our thing. Because maybe if someone who was very dedicated to maybe the Necronomicon or Sam Raimi, or I don't know, maybe they would appreciate it a lot more. But at least for me, it is a pretty decent, like, as far as movie goes, or as far as movies go, it's not that bad of a movie.
No, it was pretty good. I mean, we saw most of them were decent actors.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and then they obviously know what they're doing with the cinematography and the pacing and the effects. Definitely with the effects. So I would probably give it a 6.
Wow.
So
you went higher.
Only
you started at a 4 and you talked yourself into a 6. But yeah, it was good. I mean, if I'm in the mood to watch like a really gory movie, I might pick this one out. I feel like the blood rain at the end was a little much. It was a little unnecessary. It was raining the entire movie. Why does it need to now be blood rain?
Yeah, I think the most frustrating thing about this movie is how several steps that the characters took, if they did it any differently, then the movie wouldn't have happened in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, if they went in the basement and they saw these dead bodies, hanging, I don't know about you, but my first instinct would be to drive away and call the police. And so that's the first one. And then the second is the guy opening the book, which yet again has human skin as the book cover. And nope, he just keeps on reading it. And
there's just so many times that they went wrong. So many.
Yeah, it's just, they were being so stupid that it almost feels like they deserve what they got. At least some of them. Not all of them. But.
Yeah. Okay, so, like, first, they did bring a registered nurse out.
Yes.
One of her friends.
Smarter.
To help her with the withdrawal, Olivia.
Yes.
But they didn't do it in, like, a secure area. They're out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So if they actually need help, if she crashes too hard, they are too far away from medical facilities that can help.
Yeah.
An ambulance, if they have signal out there, would take way too long.
Yeah.
Then they go to get in the cabin, and they realize that the lock has been broken off. Like, clean off the door. Someone has broken in there, and there's a crowbar on the floor. Okay, well, might do like a quick once-over to see if anything's been taken or damaged, but I'd probably call PD, just if nothing else, to put in a report.
Yeah.
Just, hey, heads up, my cabin was broken into.
Yeah. Red flag for sure.
Then, the dog sniffs out something, like the girl's been saying, I smell something dead. Like, it is awful, it is foul. No one else apparently smells it. I don't know how they don't. They all need to get their noses checked. And yes, they said her senses were heightened and all from withdrawal symptoms, but you mean to tell me none of them were smelling the room full of decaying cats?
Yeah, that's a lot of dead things to not be able to
Really?
smell it.
Like, the house looks like it's gonna fall over if a strong wind blows on it. How are you not smelling that all over? Like, even outside the house.
Yeah, really.
But the dog sniffs out where it's coming from. They move a rug, and there's this, like, massive... It was a little bit too red still. It should have been a bit more brown, but, you know, that's specifics. A massive blood stain from where, quite clearly, a body or multiple bodies were dragged to this trapdoor. To the cellar. That's more than what those... That amount of blood? Way more than a few cats.
Yeah, for real.
Way more than what a few cats would have been. So that blood didn't come from those cats. It came from a person. At least one. At least one. They didn't clean it up very well.
No.
Then they go down into the cellar. Still haven't called PD. They never call PD.
Nope.
They never call PD. They go into the cellar, and they see another door, and they're like, oh, smell must be coming from here. Open the door, room full of dead cats, hanging from the ceiling with barbed wire. A pillar that looks like a structural pillar that has been burned, which is a hazard in and of itself. And then they find a gun with ammo and a rectangular object that could be a box, could be a book, wrapped in plastic and in barbed wire. At no point did they ever even mention calling the authorities.
I know, they didn't
You
even
find
seem...
a gun that is not yours in your cabin. Call PD.
They didn't even seem that concerned about it either. It was just...
They didn't.
They're just like, ew, it does stink in here.
They're like, oh, this is gross. Really? Really? Not concerned at all about the blood stain up top, about the burnt pillar, about the gun, with empty shells nearby, by the way. Clearly been used. No concern whatsoever. This is completely fine. We're just gonna get rid of the cat carcasses, and it'll be fine. The smell will go away. Everything is cool. Really? Really? Okay. I'm not sure what all drugs y'all are on while you're trying to get her off of the drugs, but this is not okay.
I know. It's nuts.
Not okay at all.
Nope.
Then the idiot decides to open the barbed wire package, sees that it's a skin-wrapped book, and thinks, this is okay to touch and read. I'm gonna read it. Opens the book, first freaking page. Do not touch this book.
Yeah.
Do not read from this book.
I just love how later he's like, I've made a terrible mistake. It's like, no shit.
No shit. You think, Sherlock? Idiot reads from the book, and like you said, like every page is a giant fat warning sign.
Yeah.
Of don't do the thing.
Oh. I need to...
Like picture of Satan and rituals and pentagrams and burnings and all kinds of demon bullshit. With warning us on every page. Then we get to don't think it, don't speak it, don't write it.
Yep.
It will summon them. I'm going to make a rubbing and read it out loud while I'm doing so.
Oh, man.
At that point, I'm like, kill him first.
It's like... The thing that makes me so frustrated is... I don't understand his motivation for doing that.
There was none.
It's like...
Apart from sheer curiosity, there was none.
But it's like, if it was curiosity, they could have built it up a lot more. Like, he kept on looking at it. He had to open it, but then quickly close it, only to, like, open it again. Like, it's like he felt like it was bad, but then would go back. That way it'd build up.
Yeah, like, help the other dude get rid of the cat carcasses, but, like, keep walking by the package.
Yeah.
And glance at it every time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, open it up, maybe, and realize that it's a skin-covered book. And be like, oh, that's disgusting. And walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe mention it to someone else. And then keep cleaning. And keep glancing at it.
Yeah.
But not just, I'm going to open it. I'm definitely going to read this.
Mm-hmm.
Out loud.
Yeah.
And unleash everything.
Mm-hmm. It's like they need to create a lot more build-up and tension.
Yeah. They're just like, we're jumping right into this right now.
Yeah, that was pretty frustrating.
Then, druggy chick steals the keys, which you hear her take, by the way, after she had begged them all to help her get out of there and leave. She turns, grabs the keys, and pushes past the idiot and goes into the room that she was going to be staying in.
Mm-hmm.
They're all supposed to be there watching her and helping her through withdrawal symptoms. She leaves out the window and takes one of the drugs. I'm sorry, none of y'all saw this coming.
Well, plus, like, I feel like they really weren't listening to her. Because she was yelling. It's like, at least I interpret it as she was okay continuing going through the withdrawal symptoms. She just didn't want to be in that specific place. She just wanted to leave. And they had
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Take her to a medical facility.
Yeah.
They can observe her there.
Yep.
And be in a much better position to help her. And the registered nurse lady kept insisting she's getting the same treatment here that she would get at a medical facility. Which I highly doubt. None of your conditions look very sanitary. Or legal.
Because you got dead cats hanging from the ceiling.
The place was a complete wreck when they went in there.
Like,
everything was dirty.
Show some professionalism.
Everything was dirty. Nothing was sanitary. You didn't really see any of them actually cleaning, except the main dude, her brother, David, that cleaned up the cat carcasses. Like, he was cutting them down into a plastic trash bag and took them out to the trash can. That's literally the extent of his cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Though, do you remember if the blood was still on the floor after they initially saw it? I don't remember seeing the blood there anymore.
You're right. I think they might have gotten that up. They didn't show it at all.
Yeah.
They didn't show them getting it off at all.
Nope.
Which would, for as long as it had supposedly been there, because cat carcasses weren't there in the very beginning of the movie when they were burning the chick alive. Mm-hmm. And they had been decayed pretty significantly, I feel like. That blood would have been a bitch to get off those floors.
Yeah.
Off of wood floors?
Yeah.
You might as well replace the boards at that point, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it was... yeah. Chick has some interesting time with some plants after she crashes the car. We're gonna skip over that a little bit.
Watched hentai knows. And that's as far as I'll go.
Yeah, no, we're not touching that one. They find her, get her back to the house, and all these lacerations and everything, and the nurse still insists she's fine. She probably did this to herself.
Yeah,
doesn't that just make it seem like you're very ill-equipped to deal with her?
It's like, well, if she's that psychotic, then maybe that's a sign you should take her to the hospital.
You are not prepared.
Yeah.
For any of this bullshit.
Nope.
I feel like they were very ill-equipped as well. Like, you knew what you were going into. You knew what was probably going to happen with her, with withdrawal symptoms and her acting out and lashing out against people and all, because that's pretty common. And all you brought were sedatives?
I know. You would think that she would have brought, like, bandages, like a basic first aid.
They had some bandages there because they did bandage
that's right.
her arm a little bit. But, like, awesome, you got an ace bandage and some syringes. Please tell me they're at least clean. Because the bag that they had them in didn't look very clean. Nothing there looked clean. But still. And they didn't have her, like, shower or anything before she bandaged her up. The brother then went in there after she told them I pulled out some thorns from her arms and legs. Mm-hmm. And went in there and told her you need to take a shower.
Yeah.
This is a horrible nurse. Nurses know better. Then the girl pukes into the nurse's mouth. Oh. I could have done without that. Yeah. I could have done without that scene. There was more puke in this movie than there really needed to be. I'm good with gore.
Well, the puke was mostly blood, though, at least.
Not all of it.
No, not all. But it didn't.
Not all of it, and there was chunkage.
There was. There was. Blech.
Which, you don't know if she's transmitting anything to you with that. Like, there's just so many things wrong that she should know as a nurse as well.
I know, like, her reaction was actually fairly mild. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah. Yeah?
I would have, like,
and I'd be going to see someone immediately.
Yeah.
Because, nope, field trip's over. Everyone get in the car and go.
Yeah.
We're going to the hospital, all of us. Yay. New field trip. No. Also, if she's vomiting that much blood, that is a horrible sign. Mm-hmm. But she goes to get herself cleaned up a little bit and goes to grab some stuff, and there's a mirror scene that I didn't appreciate, because, you know me and mirrors.
But you did say it wasn't as bad as you were thinking.
It wasn't. My mind I knew something was coming. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't as bad as my imagination was telling me it was going to be. Guys, my mind is very, very mean.
It is.
It's very mean to me. My imagination is way worse than anything a movie can throw at me, probably. So, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But the idiot walks into the bathroom, and before he even walks fully in the room, you can hear the bad squelching of her cutting her face off.
Oh, it's so gross. This movie is gross. Just gross.
And doesn't think, that's a bad sound. This is a bad sign. I should probably, shut the door and back away slowly. Or at the very least, turn on a light. Mm. It takes him forever to turn on a light. And then he sees her crouched in the corner in, I guess the shower area?
Yeah.
And you hear the squelching. And you see shards of mirror. I'm sorry, but it's not hard to guess what's going on, dude.
Yeah.
But this is fine. She stabs him in the eye and around the eye multiple times with a syringe. That was not okay.
No. Oh, and when he pulls the needle that's right underneath his eye.
God, we were both freaking out on that one. That was gross.
I can't stand stuff that has to do with the eyes.
Nasty. That was just nasty. I don't do needles, so that was just not okay for either of us.
Oh.
And then, okay, so there was a realistic part where part of the toilet had broken off, the porcelain toilet, and he used it to bash the nurse's head in. That was accurate. That was fine. That was okay. I mean, you don't really have another weapon nearby.
Yeah.
I'd go for that too. The tops of the toilet tank is super heavy.
Yeah.
That's a good weapon. Like, if you're stupid and run into the bathroom in a horror movie, at the very least, grab that as a weapon.
Yeah. I would not want to be hit with that.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to do some damage, and if it breaks, then you have a, sharp object now as well. Win-win. So there's that death. Then, other chick was stupid and heard Mia talking somewhat normally at the bottom of the stairs. And even after all of the shit she has seen, thinks it's a good idea to go down there into the cellar.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, that's also the first time, I feel like, that they had met.
Yeah.
She was just meeting the others for the first time, I know. So, I don't really think there was an actual attachment there, so why did she feel the need to go down there, especially after all she had seen? Unless she's just a bleeding heart kind of character.
Yeah.
That they didn't really establish earlier. But alright. Goes down there. I feel like she gets stabbed at one point with the box cutter too. Or at the very least cut.
Yeah.
And Mia bites her hand, which is unsanitary and nasty. And they had no problem, by the way. She, broke 2 of the stairs trying to get back up in her haste.
Mm-hmm.
And gets pulled back down into the cellar by a demon chick. And when she goes back up the second time, even with the dude helping her, it looks almost like she has no trouble whatsoever getting up those stairs. When she had massive trouble climbing and getting her lower half up onto that ledge the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I saw that too.
It was a little weird. But then she's pressing on the wound on her hand, and it looks almost like these mini leeches are coming out of the holes, the tooth holes in her hand. This whole movie's gross.
That almost reminds me, it's one of the Miyazaki movies. I don't remember if it's Spirited Away or Howl's Moving Castle, but there's this, one of his movies, there's slime, black slime looking stuff. I don't know, it reminded me of that. I don't know if that rings a bell, but...
Are you sure it's not Princess Mononoke?
Oh shit! I was completely off. It is Princess Mononoke. Damn.
Anyway, so she's pressing, squeezing her wound on her hand, and these nasty little mini leech things are coming out while she's got it under the water to wash it away, and she pulls it nearer to her face, I guess to get a better look at it. And you just see, this decay start to spread on her hand and slowly up the arm.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the Mia pops up and starts talking to her and...
using reverse psychology to get her to cut her arm off.
Yeah.
With no tourniquet, by the way.
Well, honestly, if I was that freaked out and I felt I had limited time to chop off my arm to prevent myself from being possessed, I probably would worry about the tourniquet right afterwards. But
really? Because my first thought before even cutting my arm off is tourniquet, because I don't want it to spread any further if possible. Cut off the blood flow so it can't spread that much further.
Mm.
And once I've cut off the circulation with a tourniquet, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to have to get rid of this arm when it's looking that decayed.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to amputate anyway. Which we find out was all in her head.
Yes.
Which was interesting. It was interesting how they did that. Again, nice touch. Gross. But nice touch. And then they don't finish the job. With any of these people, the main brother dude, David, was just not very consistent.
Hey, that's my tea. So, Navi just stuck her face in my cup.
Aw, sweet kitty. Kitty wants tea too.
No tea for you.
You're not spilling enough tea for her. So then the guy does talk to the brother and says, I think I did a really bad thing, tells him about the book and all. I read from it. I was stupid. I did a thing. Tells him how they're supposed to kill them. And when he finally does go to kill them, he's very inconsistent about it.
Yeah.
Like, he gets rid of the nurse chick's body by burning it. He dismembers his girlfriend, which makes sense. I mean, you heard me. Like, you were halfway there. Mm-hmm. You can get rid of the arms and head next. Both arms were gone at that point, so I mean...
His work was made for him.
I mean... If you're going to choose one of the ways to get rid of them, then, I mean, you're already partway there.
I got it. His work was cut out for him.
No. Just no.
Well,
anyway.
Well, okay. I feel like we're just doing a super detailed summary of the whole movie. Yeah. So let's move on to, like, the realism scale.
He does so much wrong. The thing is clearly not his sister anymore, and he still can't bring himself to set her on fire. Like, set the house on fire, which doesn't even necessarily guarantee that she will go up in flames.
Yeah. Well,
and all these other bodies are coming back to life, and his friend dude has been, like, stabbed and bled on and everything under the sun, and doesn't think that he's gonna come back. So let's not get rid of his body, which ends up being his death.
So, on a realism scale, how much would you rate this?
2? Probably.
Yeah, agreed. Like, I feel like because if I recall right, in the original Evil Dead, there was no registered nurse. It was just them bringing their friend to...
a cabin.
Or was it even them bringing their friend, helping their friend? I don't even remember.
I think it was.
Okay.
I could be wrong. It could have just been a friend getaway. But I feel like they were in the same kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't remember. But either way... Like, I feel like they tried to cover themselves, but they didn't go that extra perfectionist mile that we so crave.
We demand it. We demand realism and consistency. We are willing to suspend some items.
Like paranormal.
We are willing to suspend some things because movies got a movie. Mm-hmm. And we allow some stupid mistakes because, again... movies got a movie.
But, like, the guy just opening up the book, or that stuff. Anyways.
Okay, so I pulled up the synopsis for the original. It was just a friend getaway.
Okay.
So they did change that.
Interesting.
But then they have even less reason to look at the book.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 2 as well. Like, as far as the wounds go, like, the gore, pretty spot on. As far as...
the look, yes. I feel like they lost a lot more blood.
Yeah.
And still stayed conscious than they should have. Like, losing that much blood, you would have fallen unconscious and probably gone into shock and then died from blood loss.
Yeah.
They were up and talking and coherent and walking around even.
This is true.
With that much blood loss. And this is more than one character. And not even necessarily the ones that are possessed. They didn't even have that excuse.
Though,
you cut through some arteries.
To be fair, the original is way over the top on gore and blood and them, like, surviving wounds. And so I think they're just trying to follow the tradition in a way.
Yeah, I guess. I still give it a 2.
Yep.
It doesn't save it from the realism scale. But that's just what we think.
Yes.
It just wasn't our cup of tea, so to speak.
Yes, but tell us your thoughts, and also let us know if you like the remake better, or if you like the original, what your thoughts are on the changes that they made. Do they make sense? Or do you have your own version of the movie that you think would be better?
What would you change? If you were to make a remake of the remake, I guess.
What would you
Would
fix?
you please fix some things, but what else would you change?
Yes.
Let us know.
Yes. And as always, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.